I'm so pissed off.
Is it fair to say then John Jones is retired and this is the end of his time?
Yes.
Okay.
Very fair.
Some amazing fights, but we can do better than this. We can do better than this. I've made my own White House card, which isn't in fairy tale land, like a lot of people's White House cards were, because we're going to go through that in today's video as well. But we can do better than this. Bo Nickel versus Kyle Daukaus is not a matchup where you're like, we've got to save this for the White House card. Put it in the Apex.
Jones would have probably taken down Pereira. Wouldn't have been easy, right? Magomed Ankalaev has tried to do that. Other people have tried to do that. Jan Blachowicz tried to do that. But this is John Jones we're talking about. Look at what he did to Cyril Gane. Remember, in the first round, even Tom Aspinall couldn't take down Cyril Gane, but John could, right? So that's just something to think about. John would have probably taken Pereira down and finished him by a ground and pound, you know, choked him out, whatever. Tom, in any way, I wish him nothing but the best, and I want to see Tom Aspinall back in the cage doing what he does best. But I can't help but think that Eddie Hearn's kind of playing games here, but we'll see. I talked about that before. The reality of the situation is, though, he's not ready to come back just yet, so they've done.
Dana White is facing heavy criticism following the White House card announcement, as fans and MMA pros feel the lineup didn't live up to the hype, with big names like John Jones, Conor McGregor, and Islam Makhachev missing.
The UFC's White House card was just announced, and for what we were promised, this is a massive letdown. And I'm gonna explain why this had every opportunity to bring the UFC back to prominence, to stake their claim once again as the combat sports outlet across boxing, MMA, and everything in between. And they fumbled it. Not because they had to, not because there was no other way to do it, but because the UFC is in a place right now where
John Jones reacted with intense frustration after learning he wouldn't be fighting on the card, expressing his disappointment through a series of posts on social media.
I'm so pissed off.
However, Dana White explained why John Jones wasn't on the UFC White House card, pointing to his hip issues, retirement status, and other factors that made the matchup impossible, stressing that any talks or interest didn't change the outcome.
There is speculation, of course, that it's John Jones.
No, it's not.
Was John
Ever, which I told you guys 100,000 times, was John Jones even remotely in my mind to fight at the White House. I wouldn't. First of all, I've told you why I wouldn't do it. And number two, some guy with, meta glasses on filmed him talking about his hips, that his hips are so bad. And I don't know if you guys saw that flag football game where he can barely run. John Jones he retired because of his hips. He's got arthritis in his hips. Add that on top of all the other reasons that I wouldn't. The John Jones thing is bullshit. I'm not saying they weren't talking to John Jones and that John Jones wasn't interested in the fight. And what was even crazier is John Jones came out and was like, I'm in negotiations right now for the White House fight, after I had already sent a text to his lawyer saying, never going to happen ever.
Is it fair to say then John Jones is retired and this is the end of his time?
Yes.
Okay.
Very fair.
John Jones reacted with disbelief after hearing that he wasn't included on the UFC White House card, openly questioning the situation and expressing surprise at being left out of the historic event. Jones said, "I'm released from the UFC?" John Jones expressed deep frustration and hurt as he reacted to the situation, admitting the way everything was unfolding felt extremely painful for him. He stated, "Laying in my bed, wrapping my head around this perception, all I can think is how painful. Man, how painful." John Jones also showed some inner conflict, but the disappointment was still there. Jones said, "And then the other half of me is like, but is it really though?" Ariel Helwani reported that the UFC genuinely tried to include John Jones on the White House card, but he also clarified that the widely discussed fight that fell through wasn't the one that collapsed last night, according to the information he received.
I'll tell you this, they did seriously try to have John Jones on this card, and they couldn't get to the number. Now, a lot of people are talking about this fight that fell through. I don't think that that's the fight that fell through last night. That's not That's not what I was told.
Jon Jones questioned whether the negotiations had been pointless and rejected the idea of publicly accepting it. Jon Jones stating, "So all of this negotiating was complete. Is that what you want me to agree to publicly?" Jon Jones hinted at Dana White, questioning whether proving the UFC president wrong would make him wrong, reflecting his frustration with the situation. He said, "If I would prove him wrong, would I be wrong?" Jon Jones made it clear that being forced to admit the talks were false would be completely unacceptable. Jones added, "If I'm supposed to publicly agree that our negotiations was a lie, we have a problem." Ariel Helwani clarified that Jon Jones was indeed in talks for the White House card, saying negotiations happened but the deal never closed. He suggested the decision not to confirm it publicly made sense given the scrutiny the card was facing. Ariel Helwani said, "In since deleted tweets, Jon Jones responds to the narrative that he was never in the running to fight on the White House card. For what it's worth, Jones is 100% right. They did talk, they did negotiate, they just didn't close the deal. Not sure why Dana said otherwise yesterday. Well, I guess I do know. Why would you want to admit when everyone is poo-pooing a card that you couldn't agree to terms with a massive name like Jones?" Jon Jones believes that he would end up facing all the blame, saying, "I'll be the fall guy." Tom Aspinall also reacted to the UFC White House card with surprise and confusion, questioning Jon Jones's absence and noting his own expectations for the matchups. He acknowledged that while there are still solid fights on the card, he still has unfinished business with Cyril Gane and remains focused on future opportunities.
Peaches there.
So surely him and Taporia.
It's got to be him and Taporia then, hasn't it? It's like he just woke up. What about Jon Jones? I thought Jon Jones was on it.
Where's he gone?
Where's he gone, John? So that's it, no prelims, just that.
Yeah.
One,
just
two,
just
three.
whilst that plays out, what's your thoughts? You can just put the sound down a tiny bit.
I thought they were going to do Taporia versus Makhachev, is what I thought. And then they were going to do Pereira versus Jones. I mean, they're still decent fights. They're still all right. I mean, they're still good fights, aren't they?
I have to ask you about that Pereira Gane fight. If obviously Pereira wins, you all good with that?
Mate, I'm happy with any of them. There's still a bit of unfinished business there with me and Gane, so if Pereira wins, fight Pereira first, fight Gane next.
Israel Adesanya backs Alex Pereira to defeat Cyril Gane at the White House card, saying he believes Pereira has the power to finish the fight despite Gane's movement.
They had to make do with what they have. They would have loved to have Jones on there, but I hope Alex wins. That's crazy. Like 3 times. Yeah. Gane's no joke, and Gane can dance around him. Gane's slick to knock him out as well. But I think Alex can knock him out too.
Meanwhile, Dana White confirms negotiations with Conor McGregor are ongoing, but adds that they are far from having a timeline for his return.
Is there any update on when or if he'll fight again?
No, but we are definitely talking to Conor, obviously.
But there's no like timetable. You just okay?
Not even close.
However, Conor McGregor claims the UFC avoids putting him on major cards like the White House event, saying they know he sells regardless and often uses him to boost revenue on secondary shows.
You want me to engage in secondary sales? They don't usually put me on UFC 200 or 300 or the Sphere. They usually put me on UFC 201 or 301. You know, like a double sale thing. That's the White House was gonna hit no matter what. Who the fuck gives a fuck who we put on it? And then wheel McGregor out for the second one. So we double our economic take. We can't decide what these men do, you know. And I don't want to. They, you know, I don't doubt them. It's like in this current climate, we're all cattle. Yeah, all these fighters, we're all cattle. I just happen to be free range. I'm like Wagyu walking around the fucking farm.
Conor McGregor reveals he was initially set to fight Michael Chandler at the White House card, but the UFC kept changing plans and presenting different offers.
So as I was aware it was the White House, I was up for the White House. I know the administration was strong for me to be in the White House. It was McGregor versus Chandler. The story was built in. Chandler's a stand-up guy. He's electric in the cage. He comes to bring it. I'm the Mac. It would have been dynamite. Somewhere down the line, not me ever saying no or hey ho, not enough money or no, nothing. Just, you know, maybe we're gonna go with you for international fighting. Okay, no problem. maybe we're gonna leave Chandler. You know, I do like Chandler. I must have been preparing for him for the last few years. He deserves to go after the waiting, and it would be a great fight. It gets me back in there, but they veered off it. I'm not gonna be too picky. I have to get back. I'm eager to get back. I've been out and loved myself. So okay, sorry, Chandler. It is what it is. What weight, Connor, are you gonna do? I'm gonna do 170, as you know. I'm a big boy, a lot bigger than before. Okay, well, we're going to offer you this opponent. Yes, no problem, I accept. Day after day after day. No problem, we'll send the contract. Excellent, it's a great matchup. That's a great matchup. That's a great matchup. That's all you ever heard about out of me. And no contract came. And that's kind of where I'm at. Still here in this limbo. I know my manager is out there in Las Vegas on Monday. Face-to-face meeting. I hope a respectable offer comes through. I'm notoriously good to deal with. I'm an honest man. I admire fairness. I'm sure we can get it done. And there you go. I assume the vibes I'm getting, and I don't mind it at all, is the BMF contest, which is on this week, a rematch between Holloway and Oliveira. Maybe it's me and that for the next one. So we will see. It's all taking shape. There's so much happening in the fight world. It's actually incredible what's going on in the fight world. It's a great time to be a fight fan.
On the other hand, Justin Gaethje reacted to his fight with Ilia Topuria being announced for the White House card, saying he felt proud and excited, calling it an amazing experience.
It was amazing. I kind of knew, but it's I'm not almost crying, but I'm very proud. Promise.
Gaethje reveals he was first told he wouldn't be fighting at the White House event, only to later learn that he would be on the card.
2 days ago, I got a call and they said, "You're definitely not fighting on the White House card." So I was like,
Wow, really?
Cool.
Okay.
And then yesterday I got a call and they said, "You might hear something. You might be on the White House card." And I was like, "How are you going to go complete 180 turn on me?" And then today I found out that I was on it. I didn't know if I was main event.
Really? Oh, so it was a big secret. Even the fighters really didn't know.
Dana White also clarifies that Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev is not the fight that fell through on Friday. He notes that Topuria wasn't originally scheduled for the card and that Islam Makhachev is recovering from a hand injury, emphasizing that only officially announced fights should be considered.
And the White House card, there's a lot of reporting out of Spain today saying that it was going to be Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, and that fight fell apart on Friday. Well, Justin Gaethje also said he was told Thursday he wasn't on the card, and then on Friday he was.
That is true.
What happened with Islam, I guess, because you know how fans are, a lot of them.
That's not true, I said.
Sure. So
it was never Islam versus Topuria, yeah.
So anyone who thinks Islam ducked this fight or anything like that, it's all incorrect.
Don't worry about what fights are being made. We announced which ones are made and which ones will be happening. I told you there were some weird circumstances. The reason that fight fell out, and it wasn't up on stage with Mick Hunter and Sean, it was that power slap that the fight fell apart that night. That's how Gaethje ended up on the card. And Topuria wasn't originally supposed to be on the card either. So he got the call too.
When can we expect to see Islam Makhachev back?
I don't know. He's got some hand issues. I know that. I don't know how serious the hand issues are or how long that will keep him out, but yeah, he's injured.
Sean O'Malley believes Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev should have headlined the White House card, highlighting Topuria's accomplishments and saying it's the matchup fans need to see next.
Ilia is one of the greatest of all time. I think he's going to go down as, he knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, knocked out Max Holloway, knocked out Charles Oliveira, back to knocked out 3 Hall of Famers in a row.
And do you think he would beat Islam Makhachev?
It's definitely possible. Those guys, number 1 and number 2 pound for pound in the world, I think that's the fight we need to see next. It sucks because Islam's probably not going to come back down to 155. Ilia going up to 170 doesn't make, he's not a huge guy. He's definitely, he could be walking around 185, 190. He's pretty thick. So I think that's the fight that I'd like to see as the White House main event.
Sean O'Malley also revealed he begged to be included on the White House card, saying he was willing to fight anyone, from Ilia Topuria to Islam Makhachev or even Khabib.
I'm fighting GSP at the White House. I just kidding, I tricked you guys. The fight name is a hobby. I told UFC I would love to fight at the White House. I will fight anybody at the White House. I will fight Ilia. I will fight Islam. I will fight Khabib. No, but for real, I said I want to fight on the White House card. Please let me fight on the White House card. I don't care who it is. I want to be on there. I want the opportunity to, I fought at the Sphere, which is really cool. The White House, I think there's 6 fights on the White House card. There's me plus 11 other people that get to make the walk from the Oval Office. That's what they're saying. You walk from the Oval Office into the White House lawn. Crazy how secret this card has been. I knew about this literally only like a week ago. I don't know who the main event is. The fight's gonna be outside. Our family's gonna be able to come. Like they're saying how many millions of dollars they're spending on security alone. We're gonna go out there and beat the fuck out of this guy. I go out there and win this fight, I'm next in line for a title. I actually wanted to fight. I really was like, yo, let me fight Peter at the White House. They didn't say that. They said, nah, man. I was like, all right.
Meanwhile, Ariel Helwani calls the White House card a very strong lineup, giving it high marks and highlighting the appeal of Topuria and Pereira on the same event. He notes expectations remain extremely high.
I think this is a very good card. Like I said in my video, I give it a 9 out of 10. Like in a vacuum, this is the best pay-per-view card that we've gotten in God knows when, right? In terms of the superstars. But it's because the expectations were put here that some people, by the time June 14th rolls around, everyone's going to be going gaga. You've got Ilya and Alex on the same card. Crazy. Alex trying to make history. Ilya finally coming back almost a year to the date of his last fight. Justin looked great in his last fight. And then you sprinkle in Sean O'Malley and all these guys like that. Compare that to tonight's card. Compare that to the Sydney pay-per-view. Compare that to January 24th.
No,
Kayla should have been on this card. There's 2 surprises. Well, not surprises. Kayla should have been on the card, but she's just not 100%, and that's a bummer. And the Gable Stevenson, I was told that was discussed to have him debut on this card. 2-time Olympic gold medalist.
Oh,
he's not on the card. That would have been kind of.
That would have been great.
Well, so.
Okay, what about
Ariel Helwani clarified his assessment of the White House card, saying he rated it highly based on a realistic view of the roster rather than inflated expectations. He pointed out missing matchups, including Kayla's defense and Jones versus Pereira. Ariel Helwani said, "When I say 9 out of 10, I say that while taking a realistic look at the roster and the management's ability to make mega fights, not some unrealistic fantasy we were sold about 8 title fights and Conor being on it. None of that was ever going to happen. I wish Kayla was on here. It should be Armin in the main, but they needed an American there. So all in all, I'm at peace with it. Only whiff is Jones versus Pereira, and it's a big whiff, no doubt." On the other hand, Armin Saryukian calls the Ilya Topuria versus Justin Gaethje fight a waste of time.
Ilya versus Gaethje is a good fight, but like no chance to Gaethje. Ilya has a better boxing, and I think he's gonna knock him out. They just waste time, waste my time. They gotta put me versus Ilya, and I'll take his belt, and easy money for me.
However, Dana White says he isn't thrilled with Armin at the moment, hinting that there are multiple reasons behind his frustration beyond what's visible publicly.
What's the question again?
For Armin, I know Armin said that he spoke to Hunter.
Yeah, got it. I don't know. I'm not thrilled with Armin right now. And there's a lot of different reasons. It's not just the stuff that you see publicly. But yeah.
Care to elaborate on any of those reasons?
No.
Wade Plemon reacted to the card, admitting the Conor vs. Diaz trilogy would have been extremely compelling and full of excitement. Wade Plemon stated, "Conor McGregor vs. Nate Diaz 3 has never looked better and more realistic than it does after that main event. Take us back to the golden age one more time." Wade Plemon criticized the UFC White House card, saying the hype didn't match the delivery. He compared it to expecting a premium experience.
Dana and the entire UFC and the teases that have come from being this, insane, massive card, putting it together, how it was gonna blow everything out of the water, it was gonna be badass and all this. The hype around this has been ridiculous. And it's given you a sense of like, oh man, something big is coming. Something, along the lines of a UFC 100, 200, 300, or like when, again, Conor McGregor Habib was announced. Conor McGregor came back to the Donald Cerrone fight was announced. When Jorge Masvidal fought Nate Diaz for the BMF, when George St. Pierre came back at UFC 217, it had that kind of feel to it. And I think that's the biggest problem I have right now, was the hype did not match the delivery. This is like ordering Domino's pizza and somehow Little Caesars is delivered. You don't know how it got there. It's definitely not what you asked for. It's clearly not what you were promised, but it's pizza, so you'll eat it. This is kind of how I feel.
So that's all we have from today's video, and share your thoughts about the White House card. Are you satisfied with it or not? Let us know in the comments section. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos.